have students who I meet for the first time, and they will say, oh, well, I'd been here for 4 years and I never came in, and now that I'm here I can't believe how wonderful it is. Or I've met students who are currently at the university, and they've said things like, I never realized that you had real art on the inside of the building. For everybody who I've talked to who've had that response, it's a really pleasant or exciting thing for them. How the museum got started was in 1972. We opened as the Museum of Art for Penn State. At the time, we had a much smaller permanent collection. That's something that's grown throughout time. In the late 80s, it became very apparent that there wasn't enough space either to show our permanent collection or to have the kind of special exhibitions that we wanted to have. Barbara and James Palmer, who were community members, supported the museum in gifts that enabled us to have a much larger space.
When the museum opened in the early 70s, I joined the Friends of the Museum and became quite involved with that. And along in the early 80s, it began to be more things getting moved into galleries and less room for paintings. And so we just decided that there was a need to expand the museum. And my husband and I were both art collectors by that time, having had some good mentors from the staff here. And so we made the lead gift for the museum expansion, and then helped raise the funds for the rest of it.
That enabled us to open in 1993, to open new gallery spaces, new office spaces, a better auditorium space, and it made it so that we were better able to function as a university museum in terms of our educational programs, our permanent collection, and our special exhibitions.
And we've been very happy with it, and we're very proud of it.
In order to find educational opportunities to share works of art and ideas and broader themes with a wide variety of people, you really can't beat a university for those kinds of opportunities.
Well, this museum has many audiences. The students, of course, we're very anxious to have as many of them in here as we can, because many of the younger students particularly have never been to a museum.
We do have really significant works of art in our collection. They can come in, they can see works from the Renaissance, they can see these really dramatic Baroque paintings. They can come upstairs and see essentially the history of American art on one floor. And they are guaranteed to see something that they have never seen before.
And it's one thing to look at a postcard or a book or online, but seeing a painting in person or a sculpture or whatever, it makes a big difference.
Looking at works of art is a lot like, looking at food. It looks delicious, but you don't get the smells, and you don't get the textures, and you don't get the full experience until you're actually in the same room with it.
I think that too many of our schools now are cutting out the arts, and that's a great loss.
It's important to educate people about works of art for a lot of different reasons. For young children, being in the galleries with them is amazing, mostly because they are learning so much about the world around them, and they're like little data processors. They're constantly taking things in and making connections and then spitting things back out. It's wonderful to walk through with them and see what they're interested in and see what they recognize and see what they have to think about it. And it may be one of the few opportunities that they have to give feedback about, express what they think about this. The museum is for the entire community. The people who work here work on behalf of the entire community to collect and preserve and interpret these works of art and create experiences for them so that they can come in anytime they want, anytime we're open, and have an experience that's right for them. A long experience, a short experience, an experience with their families, an experience alone. There are all sorts of different things that can happen here, and all you have to do is walk in the door.